Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast, a place to discuss pain, passion, and pursuits.
Let's get it. I want to feel alive.
Breathe.
Make some moves.
Protect the throne. This is Sexy Freedom Media Podcast.
Welcome everybody to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast. It's your girl Helen and
January. Aloha.
today we're coming at you and we're going to talk about why we think women should make their own money, have their own money. So before we get into the topic of today, we just want to say thank you for choosing us to listen to today. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sexy Freedom Media, or find us on Facebook, Sexy Freedom Media, and give us a 5-star rating or give us a review. We'd love to hear from you and let us know how we're doing. So, why should women have their own money, Jan?
So let me share a story before I answer that question. When I first moved to Hawaii, like I said in one of my podcasts, I had $200 in my bank account. 200. So as a single woman, I obviously needed money to pay for rent, to pay for food, to pay for my bills, internet, all that stuff, right? So I need to find ways to make money. So it is vital for us women to have our own money, because during that time, I actually was the one who paid for our trips to Disneyland, to Vegas, to San Francisco, wherever my boyfriend at the time, wherever we were, I was paying. So like the dinners and all that. And it felt good. I felt empowered as a woman that I was able to do this. It felt good for me. And we got married and the roles reversed. And the roles reversed because I became a mom. So I became a mom and my husband deployed, and we agreed that I was going to stay home with the baby. At the time, he was 6 weeks old. So I became a stay-at-home mom, and it was fun for the moment. For a good year and a half, then I was itching to try to earn my money, right? And the reason why I wanted to earn my money is because I was independent. I was independent prior to meeting my husband, and to be in that space where I was a stay-at-home mom, and I commend all stay-at-home moms because it is hard work to be a stay-at-home mom. So moving forward, it was important for me to earn my keep. I wanted to earn my keep because yes, it was awesome that money was coming in, that, my husband was working and he was the breadwinner. He still is the breadwinner, okay, of the family. However, I wanted to earn my own because I felt that I just needed something extra. I needed to say that I can do this. And that's the reason for me why it's important to earn your own money. It's important because I want to feel like I can do this. 2, I need my children to see that I can do this and that my daughter can do this. So that was important for me. It was important for me to show her how important it is to be your own boss, to earn your own money, however way you want to earn money, either as an entrepreneur or, you have a 9-to-5, but just have your own money. Those are the really 2 things I think that you can earn money. Other than selling, right? If you sell your own stuff, that's another way to earn money. But yes, that's why, to feel like you could do it. How about you, Helen? What's your thoughts?
I love it. Yeah, so I was reading this blog and I thought these were really good reasons why women should have their own money. Some of the things they talked about was, the value of your purchases. Another reason was you won't feel guilty about splurging. Your relationships will be healthier. You won't stay in relationships for the wrong reasons. And it increases your self-worth and your net worth. And I definitely could relate to all of those reasons, especially the one about staying in relationships for the wrong reasons. I can't tell you how many women have talked to me and told me that they're in relationships that they wish they could leave if they had enough money to leave. And I remember being that woman that was in relationships where I stayed in way too long. And I thought, what is the one thing keeping me here? And it was the lack of financial well-being. And, you know, I used to say to myself, a question I'd ask myself all the time is, if you had all the money in the world, would you be right here where you're at today? And a lot of my answers was, hell no, nope, nope. I'd be here, I'd be there, I'd be there. And then I eventually, this is a separate topic, but sometimes I even got the money and found out that it wasn't the money. I was just addicted to trauma bonding, or my picker was broken, or, I was just stuck in abusive relationships I just scared to get out of. But those are a different topic. So I used to think, though, that it was money. And oftentimes I will say about 80% of the times I was stuck in relationships I wanted to get out of was because I didn't have the money. The other percentage is the fact that I was too scared to leave, or I was stuck in trauma bonding. So money is so important to have for yourself. And it does definitely make you feel a little bit more confident. To not have to answer to anybody is a big one. My ex-husband, I remember he made all the money, and I knew about money. I was smart about it. My mom raised us to learn about money, but I loved him so much. I loved him so much. Because that's what we say. I love him so much, and I trust him so much. And, and then, I mean, I'm not trying to mock you guys, because a lot of us do love our significant others, but, that was my reason for just putting all my eggs in that one basket. And gosh, it was a lot for him. We were a young couple, and then at the end I got burned. And I remember my mom would always say, put money away secretly, put money away. And I'd say, okay, I'm going to do it. And I started doing it. And then I loved him so much, would come back. That love, that overwhelming love, like we're going to be together forever, came back. And I was like, oh my God, babe, I got all this money saved up. And I just tell him. And then next thing you know, there I was again, broke, no money, no funds saved up, nothing. And in the end, like I said, I got burned. I was living out of my car, homeless, when I divorced, because I didn't have any money. And it will forever remind me of the valuable lesson I learned. Have a place for your own money, emergency money especially. And doesn't mean you don't have to tell your significant other. It just means there's something for you in case shit hits the fan. And so that was a big importance for me. And obviously with that, now in my life has come all of the other fun things, like investing, being able to buy what I want, being able to spend, being able to pay myself first, all of these fun things that come with it. But yes, women should definitely, I believe they should have their own money for themselves somewhere.
Yeah, because you're right. It's important to, I like what your mom was saying, just put something aside, I think, because I was in that position. My relationship with my husband has been like this roller coaster, up and down, and there's reasons for that. And I know I had put some money aside. In fact, I moved out at one point. So I actually had some money on the side to pay for the rent. So it is vital to have that emergency fund. Okay. So emergency fund for just in case. So you may not have to use that fund. Great. But just to have that emergency fund there is comforting to know. So then you won't be scrambling for like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for food? How am I going to pay for the hotel, or how am I going to pay for rent, or whatever, the necessities that you need. So having that emergency fund is really vital. So not only does it give you confidence that you have that extra just kind of sitting there, but it also gives you peace of mind that you have some kind of, fun just sitting there. So you're not going to do this obviously against your significant other or whatever, but it really is just a good a good nest egg to have. So, for me, the other reason why I want to earn my own money is that I do feel like we talked about being confident, we talked about feeling empowered. And it does give you um, a sense of, what's a sense? Um, that you're capable of
Oh.
doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the word I'm
I was
trying
gonna
to
say sense of security.
Security, yeah, so there's a security type of feeling, and that no, and that you're capable, like, it gives you an edge as a woman that you are, able to, you are more than, responsible, and, you have the ability to earn your own keep. There is something amazing when you don't rely on the other person for that money. You don't rely on the other person to pay for your things. And I think, and Helen, this is probably another topic we could talk about, but one of the things that my son and I have been discussing, because we're talking about um the older feminism and modern feminism, and how there's two different ideologies between the two. And there is something valuable, being able to pay. If you want to pay for your, dinner with your significant other, awesome. Because I know I've done that, and Sam has done that for me. It's kind of this nice equal opportunity, I guess. And but then again, we have joint accounts. So we have joint accounts. So it's like we don't really, so he and I, the way that he and I run things, we don't itemize like, okay, he spent this much and I spent this much. Like, it's not a tit for tat type of thing. And if you are in that type of scenario, I'm sorry, I don't know how to help you on that. But for mine, we don't really, obviously we account for, okay, let's not spend too much, let's save and all that, and that's kind of our mentality. But when we do treat each other for dinner, and when he does buy something, it's like well, you bought this and you bought it. We actually don't argue about that at all. So for me, having that joint account is okay. Still, it's vital for me to have my own money. It's vital for me to earn it, because it makes me feel good. So that's the other thing. It does make me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm a boss babe. So that's how I feel. I feel like a boss babe.
Yeah, you are. I wanted to read a couple of statistics that I saw, and I was just like, man, these should open our eyes as women. These come from some of the statistics of last year. So they said 1/3 of the gender gap in financial literacy is due to lack of financial confidence, especially among women of color. 56% of women married to men leave financial planning and investment decisions to their husbands. Only 9% of women think they're better investors than men are. However, women are less risk averse and tend to seek financial advice, so their investments often perform better. You guys, that's a crazy statistic to me. 23.3% of all certified financial planners are women. Only 18% of women between ages 60 and 75 passed a financial literacy quiz on retirement. 35% of men passed the same quiz. 75% of women are concerned about their ability to save for retirement. Meanwhile, 68% of men feel the same about their ability to save for retirement. 35% of men prioritize growing their wealth, especially through investing. Only 28% of women share the same priority. Women are nearly twice as likely to have negative feelings about finances as men. I mean,
Ooh.
these are just some of the ones I read, and that it just blows my mind how women tend, what that statistics is saying to me is women tend to do better with money and math, or money. Okay. I wouldn't say math for me, but I'm getting there. But we tend to do better with money, yet our confidence is way lower. Our abilities are way lower. It really makes me think, like, is it our fault? No, it's not. Don't apologize for it. What I learned from that book, Everyone Should Be a Millionaire, and how the author Rachel Rogers went back into history about women being told all of these negativity about our abilities with money and finances and math was given to us by men. So that has been ingrained in us. It has been wired into us through the past decades. And now we're starting to see, like, hey, we're rising, we're coming out, we're starting to get strong with it. However, so many of us, especially minority women, are so wired still with old thinking, old patterns, old myths about our relationship with money and math and finances. And this is a perfect time for us to start breaking out of it, breaking it. Women are rising above. We're starting to break it. And those statistics are telling me that we still have a lot of work to do. And January, I'm so proud of you being in the financial industry, and me, you reaching out your arm to me, a woman to another woman, a minority woman to another minority woman. Like, hey, I'm here to lift you up. We're going to come and we're going to claim our spot on this industry. And it's so scary, but yet it's so impactful. And you remind me all the time, January, like I could cry thinking about this, because, where I've come from and where I'm at now and where I could foresee myself, and you being a part of that journey it's already impacting me on, like, wow, this can happen for me. This can happen for my generation. This can happen for my sisters, my friends around me, if we all just hold on and keep reaching out to one another. What do you think, January?
Ooh, oh my gosh. Okay, so first of all, I got chicken skin just you talking about that. The statistics are insane. I would love to actually, if we can put that on the notes, because I'd like to see, like the figures and all that. That's amazing. And as you can tell, Helen, you went to the training this past Tuesday. One of the comments in that training was, "Wow, there's so many more women on here," which is true, because when I first started, it was all men. There was only a few of us women. And now it's slowly, and we're minority women that are in this group, which is awesome. So it's nice to see that a sea of color, right? And so yes, I am excited that you have joined this journey to becoming in the finance industry, to becoming an agent in the finance industry, because it's going to be a ripple effect, because it's you, and then you have like your tribe, and your tribe is also doing it. And this is amazing, because we're going to break that statistic. That statistic is not going to be in the next 5-10 years. More minority women, more women in general, are going to be in the finance industry and be more mindful of their finances and where we stand in terms of being our own, I don't want to say, well, our own self-made millionaire, because we can do that, right? We can become our own self-made millionaire if we want. But at this moment, if you're not there yet, you can still make your own money. You can still make your own keep. The issue, though, is that you have to make that decision. So I think that's probably first and foremost, is making that decision and setting your intention on what you want to be. And sometimes that's actually the hardest. And it's the hardest because, like Helen was saying earlier, if you're in a relationship where you're so used to your partner being the breadwinner or taking care of the finances, it can be daunting. It can be, anxiety, like can give you anxiety just thinking about finances, and either the lack of, or, well, how do we do this? So the first thing is, you can change your story. So that is the one thing. For me, I told myself I'm bad at math. I'm bad at math. I'm bad at math. And I just kept saying that story. I'm bad at math. And I'm like, last year or the other year, I was like, why do I keep saying that? Like, I can change that. I can change that. No, I'm good at math. I will be good at math, and math will be like this. We are going to be like best friends, and you can do that. So the first thing is to change your story, then make a decision. Okay, so that's my tip. Change your story.
Yes. I just want to say though, January, so I'm 42. It's taken me 42 years to change that story of I'm bad at math. And I honestly just decided to change that last year. And when January reached out her hand and was like, hey, come on this journey, on the financial strategist journey, financial platform journey, I was like, but I'm bad at math. That's the first thing I said to myself. And then you actually, January, the first time I ever heard somebody in the financial industry say, hey, I thought I was bad at math too. That's what I used to tell myself. Like, you told me that. And I was like, wait, there's somebody else who said that too, but yet they're in the financial industry. Like how, and I was just like, wait a second. She's right. Like, here we are talking about changing the narrative, changing our belief systems. And I've done it for everything in my life, except that one statement, I'm bad at math, because I just thought that was concrete. It's not. And here I am, proof that I'm changing it as we speak. I'm in the midst of changing it. And you're absolutely right, January. And there's so many women out there who say I'm bad at math, and then they stay stuck. They stay stuck in that story, and that story dominates their financial life, and it doesn't have to.
Yeah, and also when you don't have to be like what is it called, a mathematician. You don't have to be that. You don't have to know like, okay, E equals M squared and know all these formulas. You don't need to know all that. All you need to know is what relates to finances. So if you can add 1 + 1, there you go. You're starting it, right? And then percentages, right? But you don't need to be a mathematician in order to enjoy math. So I love it. I love the finance industry. I'm excited being in this industry. It gives me passion because I do get to help people with their money, which in turn has helped me. So this is a nice full circle for me because I started being independent, right? So that's my journey. I was independent. I earned my own keep, became a stay-at-home mom, and I was kind of stuck in that mind frame of my husband is dealing with the finances. He's the one bringing the finances in. I just spend it, that's what I was doing. And then there came a point where I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to earn my own. So I did. I created like businesses, and I also did multi-level marketing as a stay-at-home mom, right? That's something that we all do, I'm sure, is we draw near to direct sales. And that's fine because at least you're earning something. Okay. You may not be earning like thousands of dollars, but you're earning something. Okay. And then at some point I started working. So I was working and I loved it. It was great. Then I became a mom again. So I became a stay-at-home mom. And so I was stuck in that again. Not stuck. Okay. I don't want to say stuck, but that was my season for the time being. And then I came into this industry. Well, I was also doing multi-level marketing. So multi-level marketing. And then I found this finance industry and I am so loving it. And I think once you earn your own keep, once you earn your own money and it keeps trickling in, every single time that check comes in, you're like, oh, I could do this. And you're gravitating and it's just building you up. So that's part of the reason why, it's important for women to earn their own money is you got to build yourself up. There is something to that. It's not the love of money, but it's the freedom you get from getting that money, right? So that's the reason why, because for me, it's freedom to buy and do and eat whatever the hell I want to eat.
Yes, there's a freedom in being unapologetic about your money. And I remember being in a relationship and it was years of feeling inadequate in it because even when I did have money and I wanted to pay, he would say, no, I got this. And I was like, oh, okay. But then he was keeping score. And I don't know if you've ever been in a relationship where somebody keeps score. It's degrading. It's demeaning. It hurts the relationship so much. And somebody can just be stuck in that idea of keeping score. I wasn't, he was just constantly keeping score. Like, oh, I paid for this. Okay, I'll pay for this next time. Like, all right. And then he wouldn't let me pay because he's the man, and then he'd pay. And then I would think, okay, we're cool. But then no, we weren't, because in the back of his mind, he was keeping score. And believe me, he let me know when the score was uneven. It came out in arguments. It would come out in, just statements, snarky statements like, yeah, that's why I pay for everything, or, things like that. And the relationships for me is the big one, where I really was like, I need my own money. I cannot allow somebody to make me feel like shit, to degrade me, to make me feel less than, and I know there's a statement like, okay, nobody makes you feel like that way. You're responsible for how you feel. Well, you know what? They triggered me to make me feel this way about myself. And I know a lot of people are out there, and women do it to men too. There's a lot of people out there who do feel like this in their relationships. And I'm telling you, that's a really toxic trait in a relationship you don't want to be in, you don't want to have in your relationship. It's awful. It makes you feel awful. So when you do have your own money, like January just said, freedom, there's so much freedom in that. And even if you're in a relationship where your significant other wants to pay for everything and they don't keep score, at least you have something in the bank where if you're like, you know what, I'm going to go out with my girlfriends and have a brunch and drink and eat what I want without apologizing for it, without somebody saying, how much did you spend? That they're in that alone, there's freedom. So we can't express enough that we believe women should have their own money somewhere.
Yes. And please continue looking at finance, finance literature. That will help you. So podcasts, you just have to type in finance, and then you'll get all sorts of ways to earn money. The Organized Money, I think, she's on YouTube. She's awesome. And she talks about like different ways to organize, your money and plan, how to save money, all that. She's very knowledgeable. There's all sorts of things that you can read. So one of the things that I'm reading right now is called The Power of Zero by David McKnight, that talks about getting into the tax bracket, like the zero tax bracket, which is great. So yeah, the more that you feed yourself, like Helen and I were feeding ourselves podcasts and books and things, like we just started in January, which is like inundating ourselves with money and finance. The more that you're in it, the more confident you'll feel in making that decision to start earning your own money if you're not already. And the more that you'll understand how important and vital it is to earn your own keep.
Yes. So actually, we're on that note, we're gonna let you sit with that and just kind of relish in it and take what you need out of it. And hopefully we've inspired you or empowered you in some way on this subject. So we're gonna leave it at that. And January, let them know where they can find you, or if you got anything coming up.
Sweet. All right. So you can find me on LinkedIn, January Liddell. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, VIP Finance Builders. In those pages, I'll talk about finance. So if you're looking for ways to, internalize money, internalize finance, I have several articles in there, videos talking about finance. So Facebook, Instagram, VIP Finance Builders, LinkedIn, January Liddell. Otherwise, you can Google me. That's another place you can find me. Helen, how can we find you?
Awesome. So my book, Nothing Sexier Than Freedom, is available on Audible and Amazon. Go ahead and get your copy there. If you live in the state of Wyoming, we are having a non-overnight women's retreat called Women's Wild, Sexy, and Freedom Retreat for 3 days. It's going to be amazing. So you can find out everything by going to our Facebook page, Sexy, Successful, and Soul Fed, or our Facebook page, Sexy Freedom Media. And you can find me on Hell of a Journey. So thank you, everybody. Don't forget, you can sponsor our podcast by buying us a coffee. The links are in the show notes, or you can just go give us a 5-star review, subscribe and share. All right. On that note, thanks for listening and have a great week.
Aloha, everyone.
Want to hear more?
Visit us at SexyFreedomMedia.com.